So when we graph each one of these, they're basically, each one is a line, and then we need to shade above or below the line. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make it an equation. So here's the first one, just make it equals to 4. And to graph a line, you basically just need 2 points. So if I pick a number for x, like x equals 0, so that means that this part would be 0, and negative y equals 4, you could transfer the negative to the other side, so y equals a negative 4. So there's 1 point. And then we need another point, and I should not have erased that. So I could let y equal 0. So that would make this disappear, and that means we get 2x equals 4. So if you divide by 2, x is equal to 2. And then we could just graph that line. So here's my x and y axis. So the first one is 0, negative 4. So that would be, this is negative 4 right here. And then 2 comma 0. So 2 would be over here approximately. So that point's done. And then since this inequality does not have an equals on it, then that means I'm going to use a dotted line. So then just use a dotted line. Make a nice, perfectly straight line, just like I'm doing. Okay, then we have to decide, do we shade above that or below that? So what you could do is, especially if you've got a blue pen, you could just pick a point. Like I'm going to pick the easiest there is, 0, 0, and then test 0, 0 in this inequality. So that would say 2 times 0 minus 0 is bigger than 4. Or in other words, is 0 bigger than 4? The answer to that is false. So that means where I got the blue point is not the correct side, so that means it has to be the other side. So it has to be this side that's then shaded blue. So that takes care of the first inequality. Now we basically just repeat the process with the other line. So for that one, it's x, hold on, that should be in black. Okay, now I feel better. X plus 4y, and then for now just change it to an equation. And again, just make a little table of values. If x equals 0, then x would be gone, and then just divide, and we would get y equals 5 divided by 4. And then I need another point. So if I put y equal to 0, then this would be gone, and then it would say x equals 5. So let's see, for this first point, x is 0 and y is 5/4, so that's approximately right here, 5/4. And for the second one, x is a 5 and y is a 0. And then that inequality has an equals in it, so that means that I should be using a solid line. So then just make a nice straight line that goes through those 2 points. And then for the shading for this one, again, I could use 0, 0 as a test point. So if I test 0, 0, and I get my blue testing pen, then plug a 0 in here and plug a 0 in here, and then that is going to say, is 0 smaller than 5? And that is true. So that means if you look at the black line, and I just tested 0, 0, so that means that the shading, and it might be good to use a different color for a moment. So if you look at the black line, the shading has to be where the 0, 0 is. So that means it has to be below the solid line. And now for the final answer, it has to be where the 2 overlap. And then for that, I guess I could use my blue highlighter. So where the two overlap is this region in here. So the final answer is this nice blue shaded area. And then if you want your answer to look a little bit nicer, you can even go and erase these other ones that aren't needed anymore. And then there is the final answer.